So earlier this week, I shared a little video about being enough and that statement, that question, that interrogation, that affirmation. I thought I'd share a little bit more about that in terms of like one moment that's really sticking out for me in terms of a moment where I internalized that I, as I was, wasn't enough. And some of you may have seen me post it, but I thought I'd record a video because why not? Um, But this goes back to a musical theater intensive slash week long workshop back in 2007, and specifically this moment during an audition workshop where I went in before the guest instructor and sang for her. And I don't remember any feedback except her telling me that um, when she saw me walk in, she saw this man. Um, and then I opened my mouth and geez, like what was I supposed to do with that? I mean, it could have been anything from like, was I not sounding masculine enough? Did it have to do with me being a black man? Did I not sound black enough? Did it have to do with this lateral lisp that I have that comes out every now and then, and maybe sounding not straight? And like, what was it? And honestly, like, I don't remember. All I internalized was, unless I can sound the way I'm perceived by other people, that I wouldn't be a competitive actor. And honestly, because I think I'd work on my speech for long enough, and I kind of, I wouldn't say resigned, but I just accepted it as part of who I am. Um, the thing I took away was that I was really only good for singing and dancing. And as many of you know, I love singing and dancing to begin with, so that wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's making me realize how much, I don't know, I've thought about it a lot, but really in this moment of like me being enough, realizing how groundbreaking discovering Story District, or Speakeasy DC at the time, and really being introduced to it by John Kevin Boggs, who has passed away, and him really being my mentor and bridging the theater and storytelling world. It was really the first time I'd been on stage in 2010 and just told a story, and all I had to do was be me and share my truth and be authentic. And that was compelling and engaging. And it's still sinking in just how, in a weird way, I kind of like had given up on finding that in theater. Um, and dove headfirst into storytelling, eventually producing storytelling shows for the DC Burner community. But realizing, especially over the past year, how much I deserve and can also create those kind of opportunities and feelings for myself with theater and with dance, and that I could sing and dance if I wanted to, but I didn't need to. That I was enough. The way I sounded, the way I talked was enough. And it's kind of really been revolutionary in terms of me, gosh, just even thinking about auditioning again, which I kind of, ever since that audition workshop, kind of, I wouldn't say gave up on, but became a little terrified of, because I, I, I don't know, I guess like sounding different than I normally sound is certainly like a thing that I would try to do like with a character, but like it's not exactly among the things that I think makes me a great or good or great actor or performer. Um, so yeah, I don't know, just reflecting about really coming back into my own as a theater artist, especially with this Welders show next year, incorporating storytelling into playwriting. But um, still, that moment in that workshop really, I guess I wouldn't have described it as traumatic then, but I'm recognizing it as trauma now, honestly. Maybe as a microaggression or whatnot, but like really pinpointing that as a moment where I started breaking away or backing away from theater, just because what it told me was that, yeah, I wasn't good enough, unless I could fix this thing that wasn't actually broken, the way I talk, right? Unless I could fix it. So yeah, I don't know. 1 week away from turning 40, thought I'd share, and also curious because I know there are a lot of other friends and colleagues that over the years I've heard your own stories about the straw, so to speak, that kind of like led you to breaking up with theater, as a passion, as a career, whatever. And some of it might be related. Some of it might just have to do with like, being forced to choose between, um, a show you're in, a commitment, and some like personal and or family stuff. And that's not that's not the theater community I want for us. I think we want or need it. Like, we deserve something that respects our humanity and, is a healing one, not a traumatizing one. And yeah, I don't know. I want to figure out what that means and looks like, and whether or not, theaters that exist now are able to provide that. Or enough to create new institutions that we deserve. So yeah, I don't know if there's a moment, for theater artists who haven't arted in a while, where, uh, which really kind of like is a defining moment of like this disconnect in terms of it not being sustainable for you anymore, or not being the thing that you wanted or needed out of not just art but community, right? And now I'm kind of rambling, but, yeah, that's that for now. We'll leave a comment, and we'll probably be recording another one of these soon.